Everyone is watching this war and asking the same question. When will Iran surrender? That is the wrong question, because Iran is not trying to win this war, and Iran is not planning to surrender either. Iran has a completely different goal, a specific goal, a goal that has nothing to do with defeating America on the battlefield. And when they achieve that goal, quietly, patiently, without anyone in the mainstream media noticing, they will stop fighting. And everyone will think America won. And Iran will let them think that. Because Iran does not care who gets the credit. Iran only cares about one thing coming out of this war. And today, I want to show you exactly what that thing is. Okay? To understand Iran's exit strategy, you first have to understand something about how Iran thinks. And this is something the Americans fundamentally do not understand, have never understood. And this misunderstanding is costing them enormously right now. America thinks in 4-year cycles, okay? Every 4 years, there is an election. Every 4 years, the entire direction of American foreign policy can change completely. Every 4 years, a new president can come in and undo everything the previous president built. This is actually America's greatest weakness in foreign policy. Because you cannot execute a long-term strategy in 4-year cycles. You cannot be patient in 4-year cycles. You cannot play the long game when your entire political system resets every 4 years. Iran thinks in decades, okay? The Islamic Republic has been executing the same basic strategic vision since 1979. 47 years. The same vision, the same goals, the same patient methodology, different leaders, different tactics, but the same direction. And that direction is this. Iran wants to be the dominant power in the Middle East, not militarily, not by conquering territory, but by being so deeply embedded in the economic and political life of the region that no decision of any significance can be made without Iranian involvement. This is called strategic depth, and Iran has been building it quietly for 47 years, while America has been cycling through presidents and changing directions every 4 years. So now apply this to the current war, okay? Everyone is asking, when will Iran surrender? But that is completely the wrong question. The right question is, what does Iran need to achieve before it is willing to stop fighting? What is the specific outcome Iran is working towards? And the answer is 3 things. 3 very specific things. And when you understand these 3 things, the entire war suddenly makes sense in a way that the mainstream media cannot explain to you. The first thing Iran needs from this war is sanctions relief. Permanent sanctions relief. Before this war started, Iran was one of the most heavily sanctioned countries in the world. American sanctions prevented Iran from selling its oil on the international market, prevented Iranian banks from accessing the global financial system, prevented Iranian companies from doing business with the rest of the world. These sanctions were strangling the Iranian economy, slowly, painfully, and there was no end in sight because America was never going to voluntarily lift them. But then this war started, and something extraordinary happened that nobody predicted. America unsanctioned Iranian oil, okay? To prevent a global energy crisis, to keep oil prices from completely destroying the global economy. America had no choice but to allow Iranian oil back onto the international market, and Iran made $14 billion almost immediately, in weeks, more than its entire annual military budget. But more importantly, and this is the key point, Iranian oil is now flowing to India, to China, to countries all around the world that have now built new supply chains around Iranian energy, new relationships, new infrastructure, new dependencies on Iranian oil. These relationships do not disappear when the war ends, okay? These are not temporary. Once India builds a supply chain around Iranian oil, once Chinese refineries are configured to process Iranian crude, those relationships continue. Those dependencies continue. Iran has used this war to permanently embed itself into the global energy market in a way that American sanctions can never fully reverse. Because the moment America tries to reimpose full sanctions, the entire global economy screams. Because now the world depends on Iranian oil in a way it did not before this war. That is the first thing Iran needed from this war, and they already have it. The second thing Iran needed from this war is regional legitimacy. Before this war, Iran was powerful in the region but controversial. It had allies, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, various groups in Iraq and Syria. But many Arab governments saw Iran as a destabilizing force, as a troublemaker, as a country that exported instability for its own benefit. But this war has changed that perception dramatically, because Iran is now being seen across the Muslim world and across much of the global south as the country that stood up to America, the country that shot down American fighter jets, the country that closed the Strait of Hormuz, the country that took on the most powerful military in human history and did not collapse. This is extraordinarily valuable for Iran, not in military terms, in political terms, in terms of soft power and regional influence and the ability to shape the politics of neighboring countries. Every day this war continues and Iran does not collapse. Every day Iran fires another missile and shoots down another plane and keeps the strait closed. Iran's regional legitimacy grows. Arab populations that previously were suspicious of Iran are now watching and saying, at least someone is fighting back. Governments that previously aligned completely with America are now having to consider whether that alignment is wise, whether America is as powerful and reliable as they thought, whether Iran might be worth talking to after all. This is the second thing Iran needed from this war, and they are getting more of it every single day. The third thing Iran needed from this war is the most important one, and it is the one that nobody in the mainstream media is talking about. Iran needed this war to expose America's limitations. Before this war, the mythology of American military power was still largely intact. Yes, America had lost in Iraq and Afghanistan, but those were against irregular forces, against guerrillas and insurgents, not against a modern state with a real military. Iran is a modern state with a real military, with advanced missiles, with drone technology, with air defense systems, with a navy capable of closing the most important shipping lane in the world. And what has this war shown? It has shown that American fighter jets can be shot down, that American naval vessels are vulnerable to Iranian drones and missiles, that the most expensive military in human history cannot reopen a strait that Iran has decided to close. It has shown that America's Gulf allies, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, cannot protect themselves. Their refineries are being hit. Their gas facilities are burning. Their air defense systems are being overwhelmed. And it has shown that NATO, America's great alliance, will not fight this war, will not send troops, will not open the strait because they do not want to fight a war that America started without consulting them. Every day this war continues, Iran is demonstrating to the entire world, and specifically to every country in the Middle East, that America is not invincible, that American protection is not guaranteed, that aligning completely with America against Iran comes with enormous costs and risks. This completely changes the political calculation for every government in the region. For decades, countries aligned with America because American power seemed absolute and American protection seemed reliable. If you had America on your side, you were safe. This war is destroying that calculation, and that destruction is permanent. You cannot unsee what Iran has demonstrated. You cannot go back to believing in absolute American power once you have watched American jets fall out of the sky over Iranian territory. So now put all three things together, okay? Iran has achieved sanctions relief that is already embedding itself permanently into global trade relationships. Iran has achieved regional legitimacy that is growing every single day the war continues. And Iran is in the process of permanently destroying the mythology of absolute American military power. When Iran has achieved all three of these things sufficiently, when the sanctions relief is deep enough, when the regional legitimacy is strong enough, when the demonstration of American limitations is complete enough, Iran will be willing to negotiate, not surrender, negotiate from a position of strength, as an equal, as a power that has proven it cannot be destroyed and cannot be ignored. And here's the most important thing to understand about Iran's exit strategy. Iran does not need to defeat America to achieve any of these three things. Iran just needs to survive. Iran just needs to keep fighting long enough. Iran just needs to not collapse. Because time is on Iran's side, not America's. Every week this war continues, oil prices go higher and American gas prices go up, and American political support for this war goes down. Every week, the American military spends billions of dollars it does not have on a war it cannot win quickly. Every week, more American soldiers are at risk and more American equipment is being destroyed. America needs this war to end quickly. Iran needs this war to continue long enough. And that is the fundamental strategic reality that explains everything you are watching right now. When Iran shoots down an American jet, that is not desperation. That is a message. We are still here. We are still strong. This war is not over. Keep negotiating. When Iran keeps the strait closed despite American ultimatums, that is not stubbornness. That is leverage. The strait stays closed until Iran gets what it needs from the negotiations. When Iran strikes Gulf refineries and infrastructure, that is not terrorism. That is a reminder to the Gulf states that their alignment with America has consequences, that there will be a price to pay, that when this war ends, they will need to have a different relationship with Iran. Everything Iran is doing is calibrated, patient, strategic. working towards those 3 specific goals. And when those goals are achieved, Iran will stop. Not because America forced it to stop, but because Iran got what it came for. That is Iran's exit strategy, and it has been working from the very first day of this war. The question is not when Iran will surrender. The question is how much it will cost America before it figures out what Iran actually wants, and whether America is capable of giving Iran those 3 things in a way that allows both sides to claim they won. Because that is how wars like this always end. Not with one side destroying the other, but with a quiet moment when both sides decide they have gotten enough of what they needed. And on that day, the missiles will stop, the strait will reopen, the oil will flow, and the world will move on until the next war that was never supposed to happen. Okay, we will continue this next week.